We're still in New Year's mode. We were just talking about the parties that we were at. Interesting stuff. Here we are coming in with a bang with Storm Watch. Your first weekend will be a messy one in Southern Ontario.
It seems as though Mother Nature really wanted to let herself known for the start of 2015. Because really across the country we have active conditions on the way.
We do. We're in Storm Watch for pretty much every single province. All right, well, we'll get to those details in just a moment. But first,
even though our temperatures for the day, I mean, it's around that seasonal mark. You have the wind chill. It's still, you need to put on all the layers.
Chilly. We don't like to complain about the cold, but we do nonetheless. All right, but we're also going to be, I don't want to say complain, but I mean, just a heads up, we still have that going on. Will be impacting, well, your drive in, I imagine, if you are coming in from the north, but your ride home will be much, much better. We're going to start to see those squalls let down. Meanwhile, what's happening out on the roads right now, Chrissy? Yeah, that's for your weekend, so just a heads up. Your Saturday will be particularly messy. Sunday, the squalls, they ramp up again. But first, we still have today's squalls to contend with. They will be dying down into the afternoon, so that's great news. But areas marked in blue, areas marked in white, just a heads up, it continues for you. Still picking up 5 to even 10 centimeters of snow the closer you are to the Bruce Peninsula, just outside of that, less than 5 centimeters. And that does include areas to the north of the city of Toronto. I woke up to a light dusting of snow. In fact, it seemed like there was a couple centimeters there as a result of the snow squalls. Now, this graphic here, it actually includes this next system moving in. So a lot of us seeing 5 to 10 centimeters in the deeper blue, the city of Toronto, even 2 to 5 centimeters. And here's how it's all playing out. We have a weak cold front that's making its way out of the region. Still the squalls, like I mentioned, areas that you saw marked in under that warning. But then high pressure comes into place. We've got clear skies until the next system moves in. We've got the clouds building on your morning into the afternoon. Expect mostly snow for a lot of us, but then it transitions into a rain-snow mix. For the city of Toronto, you're right around that cusp. I'll show you exactly what your afternoon is looking at. Areas marked in pink here. That's your rain-snow mix, but also a good chance of seeing freezing rain. So it's going to be really slick out there for areas in southwestern Ontario, London, Kitchener, Waterloo area, and then to the south, it's all about the rain. More on this weather storm. And Chrissy, I mean, she's quite the connoisseur. You should have seen her on skates, Mike, the aficionado. This was her not too long ago live. I loved how you're such a good sport about it.
Yeah, you know, but I feel like it keeps coming back to haunt me.
Yeah, I keep bringing it up. I'm sorry. Bad
It's all right. It's all right. I'm glad that I just, you know, you need to buy me for all of this is one of those things the little kids have, but in an adult size. So then maybe I can work on my skills.
Mike will work on that throughout the show. But first, but the good news, actually, they're not so relentless. They're going to be winding down throughout the day today. Still watches and warnings in effect. We'll show you that. Will they be impacting our drive home? Probably not, but probably they're impacting us right now. Chrissy, here's Chrissy with that. Yeah, and that's going to be a Saturday story for you. But first, what's happening right now? Watches and warnings still in place in the blue. Imminent, it's happening now. So that's your Grey Bruce area as well as Barrie and surrounding regions, up to 5 to 10 centimeters of snow there. But then if we look at this next system moving in, similar amounts really through your Saturday evening. But then closer to the city of Toronto, 2 to 5 centimeters of snow. Southwestern Ontario gets less because you're going to be in the messy mix, rain-snow mix, and then rain is on the way for you. Here's how it's all playing out. High pressure does come into place. We're going to see those snow squalls let up a little bit throughout the day. Then we've got the clear skies through the overnight. Good for stargazing. The clouds, they do begin to build in the morning hours. First snow, rain-snow mix, then rain. More on this coming. Here we go again. The year is kicking off on a very active note for us in Southern Ontario. Actually, right across the country, Chrissy, we have got watches and warnings, winter storm warnings. For us, it's going to be pretty messy, though.
Yeah, and I mean, we kicked off the new year with a major closure on the 401 through Odessa. We had about 75 to 100 vehicles involved in a pileup. In Kasia, when I was working yesterday, I mean, that squall just seemed to keep hammering them and hammering them. So visibility was, I'm sure, a big factor.
Timing was awful. You know, New Year's Day, a lot of people traveling to go visit family. It was just awful, and I found out about this a little later in the game because I, too, was visiting with family. And how shocking. Last year, we saw a lot more of this kind of activity, so we've been lucky on some respect. But the snow squalls also, luckily, are going to be ramping down, so we'll get to that story coming up. But first,
of course, and I know, Kasia, you'll be touching on this, but as we head into middle of next week, much colder.
Yeah.
So let's sort of enjoy it.
Daytime highs closer to -12, just a sneak peek. Now, all right, first we're going to begin by looking at your current watches and warnings. So warnings meaning it's happening now, it's imminent in the blue. It does include Barrie, Orillia, Midland area, and now also Elgin County through the Grey and Bruce area under a warning. But now our watches are extending as far east as the Peterborough and the Kawartha Lakes region. That means you're going to be seeing the flurries. You could be potentially seeing a thicker snow squall later into the morning hours. But the good news is it will be dissipating a little bit. So just a trace of snow for a lot of us, less than 5 centimeters of snow, and through the forewarned regions, 5 to 10 centimeters. Now this graphic includes the next system that's moving in for your Saturday. So again, 5 to 10 centimeters to your typical snow belt regions, and then the city of Toronto all the way through to areas to the north of southwestern Ontario. So Kitchener, Waterloo, you're on that cusp, 2 to 5 centimeters of snow. And here's how it's all playing out. This is a weak cold front, by the way, and then high pressure comes into place. These snow squalls, oh, they're clearing out quite nicely, and then here comes the next system. Cloud cover, then snow for the afternoon. Most of us Saturday afternoon will start to see the snow, then it's going to transition to a rain-snow mix, and then back to the rain showers. So have a look at what the afternoon is going to be looking at like. Freezing rain is a big potential for us in southwestern Ontario all the way through to Kitchener, so just a heads up, it'll be slick out there. That's right. And the snow squalls, they continue. To the north, we've got areas in and around Barrie still under a snow squall warning. But the good news is that these squalls, they will be letting up later into the morning and the afternoon. So this shouldn't be impacting your drive home. You drive in, though, could be a little on the slick side, or, visibility will be impacted on the 400 north of Barrie. Here's a look at the watches and warnings that we do have in place. It does include the city of Barrie, Orillia, areas to the north of that as well, immediately adjacent to Georgian Bay, as well as Lake Huron, places like the Bruce and the Elgin regions. Now we're looking at snow squall watches in place for places like as far east as the Peterborough region, right? So we could be seeing that fetch is quite intense for some of us, picking up less than 5 centimeters of snow. But we're really bracing ourselves for the weekend messy storm that's moving in. Some places marked in the deeper blues here, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. City of Toronto, though, this system's going to begin as snow for a lot of us. So we could be picking up 1 to 4 centimeters of snow before that transitions into a messy rain-snow mix. And then after that, we've got the rain. So we're looking at mixed precipitation, a mixed bag of precipitation in behind this cold front. First, some high pressure. This is your play-by-play over the next 24 hours. But around the lunch hour, that's when it really starts to get ugly out there for a lot of us in southern Ontario. So we'll continue to update. Hi, good morning. Happy Friday to you. We are kicking off this weekend with a bang in terms of active weather. We are in storm watch for a messy mix that's going to be moving into southern Ontario. We'll get to those details very shortly. I'm Kasia Bodurka.
And I'm Chrissy Van in for Tom Reynolds. We'll have your traffic story coming up where, of course, traffic was a disaster yesterday because of snow squalls that we were dealing with. It actually shut down the 401 through Odessa.
But, it's awful with these snow squalls. They're so very hard to predict. And this one band, it just shifted to the north from Lake Ontario, and suddenly visibility was next to nothing.
That's the thing. I mean, conditions can really change in an instant. You could be doing all the right things, but when all of a sudden you can't see the vehicle in front of you anymore, I mean, it makes a dangerous situation for everybody.
Yeah. Good news is that the snow squalls, they're winding down for today, though, all the way through to the Peterborough region as well. We'll get to the watches and warnings that we do have in effect for right now. But first, those roads, I mean, less traveled still on this day, but they are in fact impacted by the squalls, aren't they, Chrissy?
Yes, I mean, if you're traveling in the Kitchener area even.
Well, that's good news, isn't it? Meanwhile, we continue to see those relentless snow squalls. We've got Barrie, Orillia, Midland under the snow squall warning, meaning it's happening now in the blue. In the blue also, we have the Grey Bruce regions, and in the white, you have the ingredients in place to see those snow squalls, but they will be letting up into the morning and the afternoon, so that's great news. Most of us picking up less than 5 centimeters of snow, so not a whole lot to go, but brace yourself for the next system. For tomorrow, still picking up hefty amounts of snow, 5 to 10 centimeters to areas north of the city of Toronto. Toronto itself picking up 1 to 4 centimeters of snow as the system makes its way into the area. So it's going to be cool enough for the snow, but then temperatures are going to be right around that freezing mark. I'll show you the play-by-play in just 1 second. Cold front makes its way out of the area for today. High pressure, snow squalls going away. Good news. Then for the morning hours, clouds build. Then your precipitation moves in the form of snow. At this point, it looks like this. And then transitioning to a rain-snow mix into the afternoon. I'll show you what the snapshot is of southern Ontario in the afternoon. In the pink, that's your freezing rain. A chance of slick conditions out there also into the afternoon. Yeah, for the weekend moves in on an active note, but first we got to deal with today's snow squalls. The good news is that they will be winding down later into the morning and the afternoon. But in the meantime, here they are right now. Current radar returns are showing areas to the north of Barrie. Barrie, by the way, you're under a snow squall warning. So Aurelia, Highway 11 impacted, the 400, as well as Highway 6, anywhere up and down the Bruce Peninsula. So you are under this warning marked in blue here. It's happening now. Areas marked in white. We could be seeing those snow squalls a little bit later with the shifting of the winds, but all in all, not picking up heavy amounts of snow, maybe less than 5 centimeters for a lot of us, 5 to 10 closer to the Bruce Peninsula region. But then we move into another storm system that's going to be for your Saturday. Some places picking up 5 to 10 centimeters of snow, even the city of Toronto, 2 to 5 centimeters of snow. It all moves in as snow first for a lot of us in southern Ontario, but we'll start to see the shift in temperatures and we'll be into the rain-snow mix by the afternoon on your Saturday. Here's how it's all playing out. Clouds building for the morning. Here's your precipitation. Snow moves in the afternoon, changes over. Even could be seeing some freezing rain. Special weather statements galore across the region for this reason. More on this coming.
Storm Watch is brought to you by Troy-Bilt.
TGIF and enjoy it. It's going to be a relatively settled day for a lot of us in southern Ontario, still dealing with the snow squalls, but then in comes your system for your weekend. We'll have all those storm watch details coming up. My name is Kasia Bodurka.
And I'm Chrissy Van in for Tom Reynolds, who hopefully they've all been enjoying the holidays. Things have been pretty quiet on the roads, but I know next week when Tom returns, things are going to be crazy out there.
Yeah, bumper to bumper. Yet again, not looking forward to it myself, but wow, we had problems yesterday on the roads. North Bay as well. We picked up a fair amount of snow as well. These were all snow squalls, by the way.
And it was one of those things that squall was just lingering over them for such a time. The visibility, I'm sure, was terrible. Plus, it was so windy, blowing snow, too.
Honestly, we cover active weather like this. We go into the snow squalls, and my biggest fear are those pile-ups like that. So, yeah, just an awful thing to cover. And is it impacting the roads? That's a big question for your ride into work. At least here's Chrissy Van. Yeah, to the north, places like Barrie, Aurelia, Midland under a snow squall warning, meaning it's imminent. It's happening now. That's in the blue. Also, the Grey Bruce region, so Highway 6 impacted as well. But areas marked in white, you too have the potential to see squalls before they wind down later into the morning and the afternoon. Still picking up trace of snow, so less than 5 centimeters, 5 to 10, though, closer to the Grey Bruce Peninsula. However, your next system moves in as early as tomorrow morning for some of us. It does fall in the form of snow first for a lot of us. Some places picking up 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. That's north of the GTA. City of Toronto, 2 to 5 centimeters. And then 2 southwestern regions of Ontario, less than 2. Why? Because it's going to be a rain-snow mix and prolonged periods of freezing rain. That's what the models are showing right now. Snow squalls for this morning into the afternoon. Lets up. The cold front makes its way over the region. High pressure in place. Enjoy today. Not a bad day, really. Comfortable daytime highs even. And then the clouds build. And then the precip moves in. First snow, then a rain-snow mix for a lot of us. Here's a snapshot of the afternoon. On your Saturday afternoon, areas marked in pink. So Toronto, you're right on the cusp. A rain-snow mix, a chance of some freezing rain, and to the south, rainfall. More on this coming up. Oh, yeah, it's all going to be a Saturday into your Sunday story. Sunday, snow squalls and behind the system that's going to be bringing us a messy mix. For most of us in southern Ontario, snow, then a rain-snow mix, also freezing rain, a potential into the afternoon, and then rain. But right now, we're taking a look at the snow squalls that are happening to the north of Barrie. We do have watches and warnings in effect, so areas marked in blue, it's happening now, it's imminent, but then everybody else, the chance is certainly there into the morning hours, but I wouldn't be surprised if those watches and warnings drop later this morning. This was the instability that actually fueled the potential for the snow squalls, and they were relentless yesterday. Multi-vehicle pileup as a result of that. Saturday morning, clouds build, precipitation moves in. Around the lunch hour, we're thinking, and again, first it's going to be a snowfall story, and then changing over to a rain-snow mix because temperatures are going to be right around that freezing mark. Take a look at your Sunday. Temperatures beginning nice and warm, mild at 7 degrees, a lot of rain, and then it could be freezing up the following day because temperatures dropping like a rock. Happy Friday, and Storm Watch is upon us, kicking off the new year with a winter storm for a lot of us. It's going to be messy out there, especially on your Saturday. I'm Kasia Bodurka.
And I'm Chrissy Van in for Tom Reynolds, who will, of course, be returning next week, as well as Emily. And things are going to be a lot busier out on the roads. I'll have a road story coming up. But the big thing has been snow squalls in the system on the way.
Yeah, and the snow squalls yesterday, I mean, they were just relentless, but they're so scary. I'm glad we haven't heard too many stories like that. When I heard this situation, I was thinking last year we had way more situations like that. So far, so good, I suppose. Snow squalls still in the forecast. I'll show you that. Along the Lake Ontario, they're still impacted by Lake Huron. Okay, we'll get to those squalls, what they're going to be doing, your temperature story. I mean, today's going to be a little bit more mild, but look out, next week it's going to get cold. How about those roads right now? Here's Chrissy Van. Oh, yeah, it's going to be ramping up for tomorrow, especially for all of us in southern Ontario. Watches and warnings in place for other parts of the country. We do have a lot of special weather statements for us, though, and I'll break that down in just one moment. But first, this is imminent. This is happening now. Those snow squalls I showed you on radar, they continue. So areas in your typical snowbelt regions under watches and warnings extends as far east as your Peterborough and Kawartha Lakes region. So could be seeing those squalls as far east as that. Less than 5 centimeters of snow. So that's good news. Essentially, we do have some organized squalls. They'll be letting up. The winds are going to shift a little bit and disperse and just bring us some flurries. 5 to 10 centimeters, though, likely closer to the Grey Bruce area. However, with this next system moving in, 5 to 10 also likely to the north areas in and around Barrie, City of Toronto, 2 to 5 centimeters of snow. South of that, lesser amounts because your precipitation is mostly going to fall in the form of a rain-snow mix and then rain. I'll show you that in just one second. So here are the squalls that we're still dealing with for this morning. They will be dissipating into the afternoon, so that's good news. That was the front that actually helped to intensify those squalls that we had yesterday. Here come the clouds for tomorrow morning for us in southern Ontario. First snow, then a rain-snow mix, freezing rain, also a possibility, then rain. More on that coming up. Snow blowers as a result of this next system moving in, and the snow squalls, they continue to the north. We'll have those details coming up. Happy Friday to you. My name is Kasia Bodurka.
And I'm Chrissy Van. You know, Kasia, I feel like the new year happened and all of a sudden Mother Nature remembered it's winter really across the country.
Unfortunately, in fact, on the day of as well, yesterday was just crazy on the roads. That's the Kitchener even seeing those squalls for now. And whether or not they're impacting the roads, well, we'll get our answer right now with Chrissy Van. Yeah, I'm afraid we'll be seeing a little bit of it melt. Meanwhile, I want to shift your attention to the snow squalls. Good news is that the snow squall warnings have dropped. So, Barrie, you were just under that warning there. It's a small little area here just along the Bruce Peninsula is still under a warning. Meanwhile, this instability, that front has moved off. That actually fueled the potential for the snow squalls. You can see it lets up quite nicely into the morning hours. Clouds building on your Saturday morning. Precipitation moves in, mostly in the form of snow, then a rain-snow mix, then rain for all of us. TGIF, it doesn't even feel like a Friday because of the week that we're at. Still ringing in the new year, but bringing it in with lots of active weather. We will break down the storm watch details and what this means for you, Southern Ontario, for your Saturday into your Sunday.
Yes, and I'm Chrissy Van in for Tom Reynolds. Your traffic story looking a lot better than it did yesterday.
Yeah.
Maybe not this year.
There's a big chill coming up in February that I'm considering. I'm humoring the idea of jumping into a pool full of ice. Yeah, Yonge and Dundas Square. We're thinking about it. That's in February. We will be covering that story as well. So yesterday it felt like -10, by the way, at the height of the day when those people were doing their polar dip. Ouch. Meanwhile, to the north, so as a result of Lake Huron, the squalls there to the south of Godrich. All right, what about those roads? They probably won't be impacted on your way home because high pressure is coming into place. That's great news for today. Stormwatch details coming up for tomorrow. Coming up, but what about the roads right now?
Thanks, Kasia. Yeah, I know as we head into the weekend, roads are going to be quite messy. Luckily, I mean, starting the day off, we had a bit of a dusting on some of those routes. Very line details on that coming up. But first, the storm watch story.
But first, what's happening right now is to the north, still dealing with those squalls. They will be tapering off very shortly, but still areas marked in white under a snow squall watch, picking up just a trace of snow, really. Areas closer to the Grey Bruce area, Highway 6 impacted, maybe even 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. But then comes your next complex system, and this is going to be obviously your first significant snowfall, your first significant storm of 2015 for southern Ontario. Areas in the deeper blue, 5 to 10 centimeters likely. Toronto, 2 to 5. It's all going to begin as snow for a lot of us, and I'll show you how that's playing out. in just one moment. So we're going to fast forward it to your Saturday morning, where temperatures, they're going to be cool enough for it to fall as snowfall first, then transition to a rain-snow mix, and then eventually changing over to rain. And what's really complex and what's really scary about this actually is that the ground will be saturated, and the following day temperatures will be dropping. That's going to be for your Monday, so we could be seeing a lot of slick surfaces. Here's a snapshot of your Saturday afternoon in southern Ontario. Storm watch coverage continues. Here we go. Weekend kicking off on a stormy note. Today, not so bad, and finally starting to see those snow squalls. They're winding down a little bit, Chrissy.
Yes, and thank goodness. I was in yesterday, and of course we had a dangerous setup, particularly along the 401 through eastern parts of the province.
We're talking about whiteout conditions yet again, so you're just looking at video from yesterday's multi-vehicle pileup. All right, snow squalls, like I mentioned, well, they're really beginning to dissipate, and that's great news. North of Barrie, that's where we're seeing a heavier band there, but, you know, nothing compared to what you're used to up there. Let's talk about the road situation before we get to your storm watch details on your Saturday. Here's Chrissy.
Look at your transit, but first with the storm watch story, Kasia.
First, we got to get past today's snow squalls, which should be winding down anytime now. I wouldn't be surprised if these snow squall watches, they were to drop in the next few hours. Your typical snow belt region still picking up close to 5 centimeters of snow in some places, not a whole lot really. And then closer to the Grey Bruce region, 5 to 10 centimeters. Here comes your next storm. It comes in as a quick bout of snow for a lot of us in southern Ontario, City of Toronto. You know, very quick bout of snow, 2 to 5 centimeters likely for you. A little bit further to the north, 5 to 10 centimeters. Southwestern regions of Ontario to the southwest of the Golden Horseshoe, we're looking at lesser amounts because you're going to be picking up more rain, more mild there. Here's how it's all playing out. This front, that's actually been fueling the potential for those snow squalls. It makes its way out of the region. Then we become clear. Plenty of sunshine. That sunshine makes me so happy. Clouds building, though, for your Saturday morning. And then comes that snow. Snowfall, like I mentioned, not heavy amounts. But again, it's how quickly it does arrive. Then a chance of seeing some ice pellets, freezing rain, a rain-snow mix into the afternoon where temperatures hovering around that freezing mark. And that does include the City of Toronto and southwestern Ontario as well. So it's going to be slick out there, prolonged periods of freezing rain into the afternoon as well. And then comes the rain after that. But again, surfaces will be slick on your Saturday, especially late day. Sunday, snow squalls begin later into the day, and then temperatures fall on your Monday.